Hi, I'm Aubrie.
Hi, I'm Kathleen.
I'm a former Christian deconstructing and figuring out what works for me.
And I'm a former Mormon turned atheist.
Welcome to the CNA podcast.
Let's dive in.
Hey guys, have you left a review for our podcast yet? Head over to wherever you listen to your podcast and do that right now.
And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Christian and the Atheist.
Check us out on Patreon for ad-free content.
And speaking of ads, if you or your business would like to sponsor the Christian and the Atheist podcast, feel free to contact us to get started.
Okay, so we're interrupting our flow of things. Have you noticed that this is also the morning show? I had to do this.
Yeah.
So go ahead, you can do the intro.
So welcome to the CNA podcast morning show where we let you know what's going on in our lives literally right now.
Okay, so I got some information yesterday that I heard it, didn't bother me. I was like, and then it didn't bother me. And then I was sitting in the pickup line at the school, and all of a sudden I'm like, I gotta call Kathleen. I gotta tell her what's going on. And then it's like, this has to be on the podcast. I can't just do it. So I haven't fully digested this. So you're gonna get I want to do this in grace, but I also want to be like that bitch. So
Oh, I'm so excited. I have no idea what you're gonna tell me. You literally called me like 15 minutes ago and was like, get your Zoom ready. We gotta talk.
We didn't schedule this.
No.
I'm in the middle of packing still. I got stuff out of a closet. I need to be putting it in a box, and I'm not. I was like, I had to talk to Kathleen.
Yeah.
So
I'm like sweaty and gross from the gym. You literally hurry. I'm like, okay, what are we doing?
Are you available? You're like, yeah. And I'm like, but for real? Absolutely. Do I need to put some clothes on? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I asked that.
So you remember how whenever I had that big meeting, that final meeting that got me kicked out of leadership.
Yes.
And so I had recently had coffee with a former leader that was a friend of mine. I hadn't heard from her since everything hit the fan. And she's like, I need to talk to you. Call me. I call her, she doesn't answer and doesn't call me back, and months go by and we haven't talked to each other. And then recently she comments on something on my story, and I threw a message and I was like, okay, here's my shot. And so I was like, you want to have lunch or coffee? She's like, yes. And so I was like, okay. So we got together, and just come to find out, life's crazy. And she works a full-time job. She's got 2 kids. And she also was like, I just didn't know what to say. Because she was still at that church. And she was like, I just didn't know what to say. And I'm like, I respect that.
Yeah.
Cool. I can.
At saying, sorry, I didn't reach out, but I didn't know what to say is way better than saying something stupid because you didn't know what to say.
Yeah. I'm like, that kind of honesty is so genuine and so real. And I have so much respect for that. So we get to talking. She goes, I know who complained to the church about you. Because mind you, everybody that runs that place knows where I stand on everything. They knew I was like,
your viewpoint up until your exit from Life Church had not been a secret. And if people remember correctly, you had this same conversation a couple years before where they decided, yes, you can continue in leadership. So the only thing different this time is people were
someone complained. Yeah, someone's like, why are we allowing Aubrie to do this? I'm literally like, what? So I only know because someone who was on staff who's no longer on staff told said leader and their friends.
Okay.
And I don't know if I want to say much more than that because I have feelings about that, and I'll tell you later because I'm trying to keep it on the DL. So I'm not going to say who it was. But
Okay.
I will say this. I know who it was, and my first reaction was that is really crappy. Like, but it also tracks. And the more and more I thought about it, it's like I would love to get on Messenger. Well, actually, I'd love to call her up and be like, we were friends.
Oh my
You
God.
were my friend.
So it was somebody that
Close to me.
was it. Here's so you said that tracks. Was it like, oh my God, I can't believe this? Or was it like, oh, yep, got it.
I'm sending you the name.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. I'm sorry to our audience. This is effing annoying. I just, there's no reason for me to say her name, but I'll tell you this about the friendship that she and I had. I have known her since I've been here, since
Yeah,
I've been at Owasso, this city.
yeah,
Like she was a very close, like, um, not close relationship right away, but we have known each other for over 10 years. And I mean, there was years where we weren't friends at all. And it was just didn't work out, whatever. And we just weren't in the same groups at church.
right.
And then like both of us started getting more involved in the same spots. And then it just kind of we crossed paths and we're like, oh, we really like each other. Like, you're fun. And
Apparently not. Apparently one of you really liked the other and the other was faking it.
but yes, well, and so I'm like, but here's the thing, Kathleen. I know this person so well, and I can see why she did it. Because like, let's talk about Christianity. We are called as Christians. We are called to love thy neighbor as thyself. We weren't
Mhm.
called to love the other Christians. It's our
Yeah,
neighbor. Like, it's the regular people on the road. It's the gays, the lesbians, all them. And it's
yeah,
like, as ourselves tells me she doesn't love herself very much, but I already knew this because she really doesn't. She has a hard time with loving herself, and she has a hard time with the relationships that she has with her kids. And I'm like, "Ah, you're it tracks. I'm sorry you hate yourself and you can't love other people because of their sexuality. And you can't allow people like me, who I'm obsessed with who I am as a person, confidently in that. And
yep.
I'm like, glory be to God because he made me this way when I was that way. You know what I mean? Like, and I loved Jesus.
Great job. You raised the bar with me. Good work, Jesus. Boom. Yes.
Exactly. And I was like, oh yeah, we're called to love. And I love myself and I'm gonna love everybody else and do the work. And it
Yeah.
pisses me off. You know, not
Yeah.
all of us have the ability to love ourselves, and I don't know where it stems from. And I like got my water bottle. It looks weird. Anyways, I don't know where her insecurities stem from. It could be like childhood. It could be like when she's had bad relationships with people, or
Right.
someone did her dirty, or just the way that the world works can make women feel like crap. But
Yeah.
we need to step it up and stop acting like that. And as Christians, your asses need to step it up and love thy neighbor and
Yeah.
quit like ratting out the people or complaining. You didn't rat me out, everyone knew, but to have complained and hear me out. Because she did that, great things have happened for me, but that's
Yeah.
still a freaking like thorn in
Still,
my side.
it's still a shitty
It's
thing to do to
heartbreaking.
supposed to be your friend. It
Yeah.
it reminds me, and this may be, it's a little bit of a stretch, but it reminds me of when the Pharisees brought the woman taken in adultery to Jesus, and we're like,
Yeah.
see, is she sinning? Aren't you gonna be mad at her? And guess what Jesus said? He said, go away, stop it, go,
Get a life.
worry about your damn selves. I'll take care of it. You don't need to worry about your neighbor or your friend or the
Yeah.
guy. That's my job. And she apparently didn't read that. She wasn't told that Bible story. That story wasn't on Veggie Tales, and she missed it.
Yeah. And so I'm like, at first it didn't bother me. I was like, that tracks, but it started bothering me. But I'm
Yeah,
also like, so whenever I think, okay, so when I think about like the person who said to me, you can't be a part of this anymore, I'm
right.
not mad at her.
No, she
And
didn't
like,
make, she's just the messenger.
yeah. And like, now I've got this anger that's boiling inside me that will go away. You're not going to be on my mind that much. It'll be for like 5 more minutes and then I'm never going to think of you again. You're trash. But oh my God, I'm so annoyed. Like my life is so good now, and I'm so thankful to the person who talked to me about it because they did a good job. But I am so annoyed at how this person, like, how people can get in their heads and be like, this is what the Bible says, and this is how we're supposed to act. And there are people that are on staff at that church that like don't do that shit.
Yeah.
She didn't get
It's,
the memo.
yeah. Yeah. It feels like middle school drama.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it very like Mrs. Johnson, Aubrey didn't sharpen her pencil the right way. Like uh, get your own life in order. And it's like what you're saying. Like she is feeling a certain way about her own life and projecting
Hmm.
that to everybody else, which is causing her to be a nasty person.
And like, guys, I was like, this was a person that was in my life. Like, I can't say anymore because if I say like how involved, I'm telling you, we were
Yeah.
in the youth ministry together. We did certain things outside of church together with like, I can't say much more. Because it will give it away for other people. And I just want to say her name. F her.
Yeah. She was a have someone who didn't know very many people from your church. She was involved enough in your life that when you texted me the name, I know who that is.
Yes. And after I had that meeting with not Kathleen, with the other person. And then I was in a group chat
Mm-hmm.
and she was in it telling them,
Yep.
oh my God, this happened. She's like, oh
Yep.
no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, oh, she's because it's one thing to tattle on your friend and then have it go sideways and be like, oh, that is not what I intended. Oh my God, I
Mhm.
regret this decision. And it's another to then say to that friend, like, oh my gosh, what a shock. That's crazy. Should we get coffee and talk about it? Oh, great.
Right. Here's the thing that I would have appreciated, and this just shows that she has zero lady balls. Like, and sometimes we just don't. And she didn't at this time, and I'm judging her for it. And she's a big butthole for it, but she could have came to me. Hey,
Yeah.
I don't appreciate this aspect.
Let's talk
And
about it.
then I had not a few weeks after I was removed, one of the students messages me and is like, I was in a meeting and this person said this about sexuality and gender gen, gender identity.
There you go.
Gender identity. I almost said genital
Nope.
identity.
Nope. Not it. But
It's actually not anything to do with it. Anyways,
correct.
so this student messages me and like, what do I do? And I'm like, you know, and I mean, we talked about it and went from there, but it freaked them out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God. So, anyways,
The,
that's the news.
well, again, the other day we were talking about this. We just released an episode talking about how, people online were going like, oh, maybe you should go to Life Church because they're really great and blah, blah, blah. These are the people who are now still working at Life Church, are the ones that are sitting children down and telling them that they're going to hell because this
Hmm.
13-year-old thinks they might be bi. This,
Hmm.
the person who is still there. So that's the church. At this point, that they're you know them by their works, again from the Bible. The
Hmm.
word we are being cruel and hateful and spreading horrible feelings to children. And that's who's still employed. The people who are not employed anymore are people like Aubrie, who was kind and gentle and loving and wanted to build people up everywhere they go. The people who are still employed are this woman who is, as you can tell, none of those things. So that's indicative of what the church is. So don't go there. It's shitty. All that to say, thumbs down.
0 out of 5 stars.
Would not recommend.
Don't recommend at all. And I vouched for that place so much. It's embarrassing.
Though, often my Facebook will tell me things like, 10 years ago on this day, you said something about Mormonism. And I just
Delete.
don't.
I'm like, there's a few of them that I'm like, oh my gosh, so cringe.
Yep.
And it's like, whatever. I just, indoctrination at its finest, like Bible Belt, Oklahoma. We're here. We're family. We're effed up. My kid got home, so I can't say it. Anyways, it's maddening. It's also, I'm not surprised. If you can't love yourself, how are you to love others as
Exactly.
Christ has called you to? And I'm going
Exactly.
to hold you to that standard, even as a no longer Christian, because you're supposed to be at that standard. You're called to do this. You're set aside.
Mm-hmm.
Get busy.
Yeah,
Start loving yourself, friend. Go to the therapy. Do the work.
that's right.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
you're troubling. I'm sad for your soul because I couldn't imagine what it's like to not love yourself
Wouldn't that
enough to hate other people.
wouldn't that be so exhausting?
And
Because
over, yeah,
like you, I have been blessed with a maybe overinflated sense of ego
I
and how
know.
people who don't like me, they're just wrong because I'm a delight.
That's such a good sound bite.
But I'm not, and I have been in the past. Everybody goes through stages where they're feeling really crappy about life and feeling really crappy about themselves. But
Sure.
I've done the work to then get past that point and constantly, therapy, and we've talked about this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But the idea of hating yourself so much that you go through life just trying to make other people's lives worse,
Yeah.
that's exhausting.
Yeah.
Girl, a nap. Like that sounds way too much work. I don't
Yeah.
care people's lives enough to even be worried about it.
Like a group of people that you literally don't know them. You don't know the LGBTQ plus community in its full. There are people in that community that are freaking amazing, and some that I probably could say, oh, they're not that amazing. But it has nothing to do with their whatever, the queerness in which they bring to the table, which amplifies how great they are, just like whatever I am is amplified because of whatever. Yeah.
instead of Christians.
Yes, you're right. Same could be said for Christians.
Yep.
Girl, I'm just on fire. But I mean, I have to be careful with how I talk about this because I feel like I'm almost doing the same by being like so pissed off about it and being like, she's a problem and I hate her guts. I don't hate her guts.
You stoop to her level. It feels
Yeah,
really you're in the moment and mad, but later on, because you're a good person who has like a
yeah,
moral compass, like is a genuinely good person, you later on may go, oh, I wish I hadn't had been so mad or said X, Y, and Z. So yeah, I get what you're saying. There's a
yeah.
level of
I gotta check myself
yeah.
and not go there, but it's hard. But anyways, whatever. Way to go. You know, I'm saying it in my head.
I
I'm
hope
saying it out loud so bad because it's one of those names. It's like,
I hope she feels good about herself. That's not true. I don't. I hope she doesn't. I will.
she does. She
I
does.
I guarantee you, she's got like a smug sense of, well, I did the best thing ever about this. I hope she gets some kind of wake up call, not something bad happening
Mhm.
to people think that way, I don't hope something bad happens to her any more than like I said back in July when we first talked about this, that I hope she has a sudden like stubs her toe.
Yes.
Like that's where I'm at as far as bad things happening to her. I hope that in the future she has a chance to reflect and think, and has maybe she makes a friend who is part of the LGBTQ plus community and suddenly realizes, wait a minute, the things that I thought before were wrong and I need to reevaluate. I
Mhm.
hope that happens to her, and I hope she somehow is able to do better going forward.
Because let's be honest, we've all been where she's at.
It's in some ways, many of us have. Absolutely.
I will say I have. I've been exactly where she's at. Not at a, like, I wasn't a grown woman. I hadn't gone through 50 plus years of life,
Yeah.
but I have been homophobic. And thanks to Grey's Anatomy, just kidding. I mean, it helps. But anyways, I don't know. I just evolved. You know what I mean? Like, do what?
I said representation matters.
Yes. It really, it's important.
But yeah,
Anyways, you know, whatever. We can't all be holy and greater than thou, but we can step out of these crappy places and grow elsewhere. And
yep.
if she was the catalyst to that, thank you so much, but you're still a piece of crap. So, and you were my friend.
her her actions had unintended consequences of benefiting your life, which was not her intention, unfortunately.
Yeah, who knew? But
Yeah,
I did that, not you.
right. That's correct.
Oh, Kathleen. I'm just like shocked. I've heard so much, but this one, and I've had so much growth and like stories that come up from like these coffees that I've had with people. Something else, I don't know if we've said it on the podcast, it's kind of going along with like leaving this like dogma stuff, is gossip.
Yeah.
Remember how taboo gossip was?
Yes.
And like as I've really like dove into that idea of don't be a gossiper in the church, those little
Yeah.
Baptist women, and they sure can gossip, and that's not the Lord's work. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Baptist women, but um, I feel like that was such a manipulative way to keep people from talking, to kind of reveal the really bad things that are going on around the church. Like it's one thing
Yep.
to be like, oh, so and so's pregnant again and she already has 6 kids. That's stupid. Like
Yeah.
when is she gonna stop? Does she know
Right.
what makes that happen? It's like that's not cute.
There's one that in Mormonism that they say, and it's very similar, and it's don't speak ill of the Lord's anointed. And it's basically you're not allowed to talk bad about the priesthood leaders. And what
Yeah.
that is, we found out that the bishop of the following ward is touching little kids in his office,
Mhm.
but we shouldn't speak ill of the Lord's anointed. So there's
Yeah.
that. But I know what you're saying. I know people who are really bad gossipers who are just like they'll talk about anybody anytime no matter what for just the sake of having something to do, and it does get very wearing. So on one hand there's like you said, don't talk about your neighbors to spread,
It's
like
there's a way to do it and a way to
there's
not to do it, just like cussing.
yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that we're not. But no, there's something that I've seen when it's about talking, like gossiping or talking about others. It's like, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? And
Yeah.
there are sometimes when you're talking about others to kind of go through that checklist in your head and think, me bringing up my friend's pregnancy, it's just me spreading her business for no
Yeah.
reason and
Yeah.
for me to do something. Obviously that's dumb. But when it's stuff sometimes like I saw something that maybe isn't right within the church, you can go ahead and say something. You should.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's exactly. Now that I'm removed and people are coming out of the woodworks to talk some more that are different than the first round.
Yeah.
That's funny to say. Anyways, I'm still processing. My brain's funny right now. Anyway, so um I sat down with another person recently and we just talked about something that happened to her.
Yeah.
And a certain person just was not truthful.
Yeah.
And it was the same person who was kind of did me dirty. Not this person,
Another, yeah.
but it was a whole different, same. Anyways, it was one of the other times whenever they're trying to figure out what to do with me when they first found out about me being
Right.
an ally, whatever. Anyways, but it was validating to hear this person did me wrong and I didn't appreciate it. And I was like, I am so sorry that they did that to you. And I know
Right.
what you're going through. And then I like spoke mine and we kind of like trauma bonded.
Right.
And it's like, that's kind of freeing. Like, and these are people you're not supposed to be talking about
Right.
because whatever. But anyways, so
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Yeah.
It's chaotic over here. A little short life update aside from like me talking mad crap on my friends, my once friends, decade-long friendship that wasn't real, clearly.
Fine.
She could have come to me.
Yeah.
She was in a position.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't, what's going on with this? But there was another person who came to me and he ended up moving to a different church and they were like, maybe she saw that go down and how I was like, yeah, he's a joke.
Yeah. Maybe.
So maybe I didn't make it a thing that made it easy for her, but still,
Maybe.
she,
Maybe she's just not that type of person that the idea of, because like you and I, like the idea of not necessarily confrontation, but the idea of saying to somebody, hey, I have a problem and you and I need to resolve it
yeah,
together. That comes from, again, years of mental work to be able to be comfortable doing that.
true.
Maybe isn't there.
Yeah, fair enough. Well,
Still,
yeah. So the move is still on. I'm still going to
yep,
Chicago. I painted the studio white. It was black.
yeah,
Everything in my house is turned into what looks like it was before we moved in. We're putting
yep,
the house on the market in a few weeks, maybe less than, well, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm kind of like, holy crap.
mm-hmm,
And I'm glad we're going to every other week, and I'm sad to the listeners that are listening wanting to hear us every week. But I'm also like, okay, I got to get something out, and I didn't want this to be a two weeks after
right,
tomorrow
right,
conversation. So,
yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
but are you guys doing good over there? Any life updates?
Just living the dream.
No sickness, no flu, living the dream.
So now that I say that, someone's gonna barf downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm up in my room and the kids are downstairs. Now that I say that, someone's gonna be like, I'm sick. But no,
Mm-hmm.
we're
Thank
just
goodness. Yeah.
all in life.
Yeah. Well, that's that over here, but we hope that you all are doing good that are listening, and we love you guys so much. Unless your name is, I'm just kidding, I don't know. I don't want to say it so bad.
Outside into your neighborhood and like scream it into the backyard. No, your neighbors are gonna be like, the what? Yep.
Thank you guys for listening. We are appreciative of those who have stuck around. What are your
Always.
thoughts on a friend doing something like this?
Yeah.
Probably wasn't my friend, right? But girl,
Probably,
she was.
probably not.
I'm not sad that the friendship's over because it was fine. Like that fizzled out quick with a
Yeah.
quickness. But anyways, all right. You guys have a good day and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh.